Meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the City of Apache Junction. Today's date, June 10th, 2025. The time is 7 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rudy, can I get a roll call, please?
Chairman Hanchey.
Here.
Vice Chair Barker.
Here.
Commissioner Gage. Commissioner Starr.
Here.
Commissioner Bigelow.
Here.
Commissioner Mikeland.
Here.
Commissioner Callan.
We had a technical error and it says that he got dropped from the call. So I'm trying to figure that part out.
Okay. We'll mark him as present.
Okay.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda and minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Barker?
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the agenda as presented and approve the minutes from the May 27, 2025 regular meeting. Second.
Rudy, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Callan.
Yes.
Chairman Hanchey.
Yes.
Vice Chair Barker.
Yes.
Commissioner Starr.
Yes.
Commissioner Bigelow.
Yes.
Commissioner Mikeland.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. There's a public hearing this evening, major general plan amendment case P-25-10-GPA to amend the general plan land use map for parcel 102-20-008A and 102-20-008C as in Charlie, and a rezoning by plan development case P-25-11-PZ to rezone parcels 102-20-008A and 102-20-008C. Nick, take it away, please.
All right, thank you, Chairman Hanchey. Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commission. So tonight I will be presenting this case, the major general plan amendment and the rezoning by plan development regarding stunt construction on the noted parcels. So just to note, this is the first meeting tonight is held here at the Superstition Fire and Medical District because of the major general plan amendment. We are required to hold two separate public hearings in two separate locations, and tonight will just be the presentation, discussion, and a public hearing, but there will not be a vote or consideration at this time. That will be in 2 weeks on June 24th. That will be held again at City Hall in the normal council chambers. So to review this, the applicant's request, Sun Construction is requesting a rezoning of 36.6 acres at the northwest corner of Auto Center Drive and Cactus Road, just west of Tomahawk and south of the US 60. In order to develop a light manufacturing facility with an administrative training and with an administrative and a training office. And this will support their national contracting and construction work. So as this involves a land use change that is greater than 10 acres, that is what triggers the major general plan amendment requirement. The subject site that they're looking at developing is only about 9 acres, but because the rezoning in total is this whole 36.6 acres, we go through this process. So the zoning of the property is currently general rural low density single family residential, or RSGR, which is more of a holding zoning. Historically, the county kind of had a quasi-agricultural GR district, and that was used for a lot of these very large parcels that were undeveloped. And in this case, this is one of those properties that still has, it's never been developed, and so it still has that RSGR general rural zoning. But it's situated in the middle of industrial properties. We see the baseline industrial park immediately to the west, all zone B5 or B5 PD industrial. We have industrial property to the south. There's also a county island. All of the county zoning in that area is also the county's analog for our industrial districts. And then to the east, we have a manufactured home park also located within a county island. And then we also have the Horn Auto Dealership properties. Horn is actually the property owner at this current time of this property as well. And they are looking to sell it to Sunt as part of this process with the approval. So these land use patterns are also reflected in the general plan future land use map, except noteworthy is that this property is designated for commercial use as opposed to any kind of residential use that it's currently zoned. And it's not zoned, or it's not designated for industrial class, which is why there is a major general plan amendment to this. It is commercial more in line just because it was one of those Horn properties. Again, it's like they've been the owner for a couple decades, and as they had a rezoning of their properties a couple decades ago, but this property they don't have any plans to develop. It's just never been touched. And we find that a industrial use conforms with the area. Again, as we see the industrial to the west and to the south. A land use map change to an industrial use still conforms with keeping those kinds of important employment uses, bringing jobs to the area, and it furthers other general plan goals that I'll get into in a moment. So at the current time, the development plan again is only focused on this section of the property. It's about 9 acres. They are proposing an industrial building as seen here. So we've been working with our architectural team and are pleased with the effort they've made in order to make a pretty building as seen from the freeway. We have elevations here. I will note that the one item of the plan development asking for deviation from typical zoning standards is an increase in the building's maximum height from 35 feet to 45 feet in order to, that is necessary for some industrial clearances on the inside as they, within their manufacturing line. To note the public input and the efforts of the applicant, as this is an industrial rezoning, they had an increased notification radius. And they have complied with all of the necessary notification standards, posting a sign, sending mailings out. We have that in the newspaper, everything standard for this. They did hold a neighborhood meeting at the Apache Junction High School on Wednesday, March 19th. And we had one neighbor attend. It was a business owner immediately to the south of this property, and he expressed support for the rezoning and for the development. So looking back again with the general plan, as there's been a lot of discussion about the general plan and keeping to the goals that were originally formulated, we find that this proposal, the major general plan amendment and the rezoning, are compliant with the general plan goals and policies. So noteworthy here, we find that as this is a prime infill site, it's a lot of land, it's right next to the freeway, but it's one that just has never been developed. It's an awkward spot for a lot of different uses, but in employment and industrial use of this sort is a golden opportunity for this. There's a general plan goal and policy specifically to encourage industrial uses along our transportation corridors, and then that's further clarified even further in a later chapter to encourage this kind of employment and industrial use along the US 60. So we find that it really is a prime spot that even though this has a general plan land use designation of commercial, the industrial classification is exactly what the general plan was aiming for within this area. It's right next to the baseline industrial park. And so ultimately we find that this proposed amendment is compliant with the general plan goals. And as such, staff recommends the approval of the major general plan amendment case, P2510 GPA, and the associated rezoning by plan development, P2511 PZ. So again, there will be a second public hearing, and when the Planning and Zoning Commission will ultimately vote on it in 2 weeks, Tuesday, June 24th, following which the City Council will have their public hearing on Tuesday, July 15th. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. The applicant is also here. They have a short presentation also prepared, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have tonight.
Commissioner Burke.
I just have one question at this point. I noticed in the report that the wash was going to go down the east boundary of this property to the driveway, which is on Auto Drive. And I'm wondering, where's that gonna dump then?
So I know that they are required when it comes to maintaining historic outfall. So I don't believe they will be changing the water pattern that already exists, and they will be engineering it. They'll capture any on-site retention as necessary, or on-site flow for within their retention basins as necessary. But when it comes to that wash, I believe as they are required by our engineering standards to maintain the infall or the outfall. So,
according to the report, they are taking that down the east side of the property to the driveway. And it doesn't say where the rest of that water is going to go. Does it stop there? Is it damp there? Does it puddle out on the road? Does it, what does it do at the end of their fixture that they use to pull that wash down the east side? It just kind of ends at the driveway.
Vice Chair, we're going to defer that to the applicant.
Okay,
Perhaps they can
works
look
for
at that.
me.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners' questions at this time? All right. We'll bring the applicant up then.
I'm not sure how you want me to do this, Chair. I can pull my chair up here in the middle of the room. If we need to do that, or
Hey, Brandon, feel free to use that table there.
perfect. I'll go over here then.
and I'll move the presentation along as you need.
This is great. Thanks, I'll sit here. All right, Chair, members of the Commission, Brennan Ray, 2335 East Camelback Road, here on behalf of Sun Construction. We're certainly very excited to present this to you tonight and look forward to coming back on the 24th and hearing your recommendation as well as the City Council. Sunt, if you're not familiar, is an employee-owned construction company that does a lot of construction across the entire country and in a number of places. They are really excited about this opportunity. Build a state-of-the-art facility where they can self-perform some of the manufacturing for the equipment and other things that they need on their construction job sites. And I have Alex Charland with Sun Construction here tonight as well, if we need to answer any additional questions or that I can't relative to what we're doing. Now, I do have a full presentation that is going to touch on a lot of the things that Nick presented. And if you would like, Chair, members of the Commission, I can certainly go through that, but it is going to be very similar to what Nick presented, highlighting the site plan, highlighting how this is an appropriate development for the area adjacent to a freeway with industrial to our west and to our south, and the Horn Auto dealership and potential future expansion east of us. And so I can go in that. I can talk about how staff has been great to work with. We've worked hand in glove with them, as we usually do whenever I come before you on a lot of the other developments, in making sure that the site plan meets the expectations of the city and its residents. We can talk, if you want, about the architecture and quality, that this isn't just a simple tilt-up building, but that it has architectural articulation, plane changes, massing changes, something to provide visual interest, especially as you enter in off of Auto Center Drive or along the 60, and we work very closely with that. But what I'd like to do again, if you want me to go in more depth than what I've just done, I'm more than happy to. But I would just like to say thank you for this wonderful opportunity. This is the exact development in the exact right location. Something that's going to bring jobs to the city and to an area that staff has highlighted and the general plan highlights as being a very important corridor for jobs and for future growth. And we're, again, very excited to be the first here. Now, if I may, Chair, I will answer the Vice Chair's question about the drainage. So, relative to the site, Nick, if you would like to go to slide 4, it's probably the best one. Yeah, this one. So, yeah,
This
that
one.
one works. Either one works. So, you kind of can't see it on this, but it's in your packet. This is the overall site plan, and you can see overlaid on the aerial, there is a historical wash that kind of runs from the northeast to the southwest. And so we are required under state law and the city's codes and ordinances to ensure that any water that comes on our property, that we retain the water that exists on our property. Here, where it's a little bit unique when you have a wash, and the law is that when there is a wash, you have to, of historical significance, and Joel will correct me where I'm wrong, but historical significance, I have to kind of keep it in the same place that it comes in and the same place that it exits. So, while we're only talking about 9 acres and a 65,000 square foot industrial building, we will be channelizing, undergrounding, we will be doing the necessary things to allow the development of this parcel. What you do not see on your plans is culverts underneath that drive there at Auto Center, to where the water will flow underneath that and will maintain kind of this historical pattern south of that drive. So we will not be pooling water at Auto Center there. We do have not only a legal obligation, but for us to develop the site plan, we've got to be able to ensure that water and drainage is going where it needs to go. So we are making the necessary improvements to allow access to the site, and that we don't prohibit or prevent access due to some historical rainfall that we might get, that it's going to make it so that nobody can drive there at Auto Center, and I think that other streets, Cactus, if I remember right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as it comes through that culvert here, then it will go back to the southwest, the way the channel is running now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, through the chair, vice chair, yes, that is correct. At some point, Sun anticipates additional development on the land.
I guess that was my next question.
Yeah, this is phase 1, and when that future development comes along, we will have to address either the channelization or undergrounding and piping that drainage through that, what I'll call the southeast quadrant of the site.
Yeah, because we don't want to see it channelized to the point that it ends elsewhere and let somebody else down. Okay, thank you. That was my major question.
Okay.
Good question. How many people are you anticipating employing there?
So with this initial phase, there's a couple aspects and components. To answer the question directly, 50 to 100 people in this initial phase. And that's going to be a combination of people working in the site, administrative offices. They really sees this as a great opportunity to provide additional training on equipment, on processes to other employees. Additionally, Sun has a long history of partnering with local colleges and schools, trades, to be able to come so that they can come in and, whether it's through an apprenticeship or a brief program, be able to come in and get some real world, real application training. And that kind of goes to the core of what Sun is, as one of the few major corporations that is entirely employee owned.
Then what's your anticipation for build out on this?
Chair, we don't know.
Best guess.
In terms of this first phase,
Yeah, I'm talking to, because I know this is future for the rest, but.
Yeah, so through this first phase, we've already kind of gone at risk in preparing, and if we haven't submitted, it is imminent that we will submit building plans to the city for them to review so that we can pull permits. I think once we get through that process, which I would imagine, and staff can correct me if I'm wrong, for review times, I know they're excited about it, and so I would anticipate that we're 2 to 4-ish, maybe 5 months of plan review, and then I know Sun is chomping at the bit to get construction underway. If I may, across the room, ask Alex a question. Alex, how long till build out occurs till you guys are up and running and when
Yeah,
it's
so
a show?
we're targeting about a year of construction to get it, fully developed and up and running. So, if we get started, I think, late summer, early fall, then we'll be late next year up and running.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Are those loading docks up in the front of the building?
Chair, Commissioner Starr, if you give me 1 sec to double check on my site plan. Nick, if you would like to go down a slide, please. Yeah, so what we've got, this is a view looking from the southeast to the northwest. And what you see there on the corner is there is a dock door. What you kind of can't see on the back side is that there's another dock door that will allow vehicles, unless I'm mistaken, to pull through this facility to be able to offload materials, offload supplies, to be able to do that in that fashion.
Brendan, if I could just
Yeah.
help add. Yeah, so not a traditional loading dock where the truck will be backed up to it and loading outside. It's the intent is the truck will pull into the interior of the building where we have overhead cranes and be loading and unloading in there. So that it's really a pass-through lane to the interior of the building.
Nick, if you would go back on the slide.
Yep, full-size semis will go through
And they'll
there.
be going down the auto drive from the exit from the freeway.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Chair, Commissioner Starr, if you can see on this zoom up picture of the site plan, that's what the south, that illustrates what Alex was talking about. You have the same kind of pull-through condition on the north side of the building as well.
I noticed that I bike through there often. It just happens on my routes that Tomahawk. But I noticed an auto drive there going between there and Tomahawk. It's quite, dilapidated, to say that. Is there plans in the future for repaving or?
Through the chair, Commissioner Starr, I'd certainly defer to the area that's outside the scope of this development. But I know that in connection with our development, we will be required to make the necessary improvements for us to get in and out of the site, and that would likely include some improvements at the intersection of of Auto Center and Cactus as well. But as it relates to Auto Center and Tomahawk, I would probably defer to the city on that, unless I'm mistaken, that's public right of way through there.
Commissioner Starr, that's correct. That is public right of way, and we would have to check in with our Public Works Department to see if there's any plans for improvement of Auto Center or Tomahawk.
So it'd be at the expense of the city, is that correct?
Correct. It's because it's outside of the scope of the site.
I understand it's outside the scope, but we got to consider that there's going to be a future expense because those roads are very lightly traveled at the current time. And,
Understood. We will check in with our Public Works Department.
okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
I am.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
did Commissioner Callan have any questions? Let's not forget about him.
Commissioner Callan, you there?
No questions here for me.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the public. Anybody from the public, would you like to speak? So please come up to the area here, state your name and address. You have 3 minutes to speak. Going once. Going twice. 3 times. Closed. All right, so we're not going to vote tonight, so the public hearing is closed. All right, we have no old business tonight.
No, sir.
No new business tonight.
No, sir.
No information reports.
Not this evening, Mr. Chairman.
No director's report.
No, sir.
Do we have a motion to select the next meeting and date?
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission hold a regular meeting on June 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the City Council Chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard. In the event there are no items to be brought forward to the commission, these meetings may be canceled. Notification of cancellation properly posted and the commission notified by staff.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Rudy, I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Mikeland,
Yes.
Commissioner Callan,
Yes.
Chairman Hanshi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Starr,
Yes.
Commissioner Bigelow.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy. I now adjourn the meeting at 7:26 p.m.